Check 1, 2. I believe I am live. Is anybody out there? Let me know if I got this bad boy to work. Let's see here. Refresh my Facebook page. See if I'm streaming through both my Facebook and YouTube. I'm sure I'm on YouTube. YouTube is an old reliable, that's for sure. Let's see if Facebook's working. All right. Hope everybody's doing well today, coping well enough with the COVID, with the virus. We're just doing what we're doing here. We're pretty much doing what we always do. I should brush my damn hair. Look at this. I was under the table moving the cameras. Move this over so I can see. Oh, geez, look at this. Look at this hair. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. My goodness, what a mess. I hope everyone's doing well. We're doing as we can, kind of interesting, the repercussions of this are going to be awful. Blevins, what's up, brother? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thank you, Teresa. What's happening? Angela, good to see you too. Old Bean, good to see you, Old Bean. Old Bean, would you mind joining us on the stream and give a little insight? I actually sent to our pal Todd McDevitt too to see if Todd would like to join. Old Bean, would you have a minute to come on and talk about the things with Diamond with this temporary pause, I'd say? I think it might be the best thing for comics right now. It's almost like stopping the stock market. But if retailers can't afford to pay for their product, they're not going to be able to do it. It's awful with a bunch of the cancellations, but it's a terrible, terrible thing. It's something that we all have to endure, or that we will endure and are enduring. And we'll get through this. There's rumors, and my glasses are all mixed up. I was under the thing trying to move my lighting so my lighting is better, and my microphone as well. Oh, my mic's all the way up there. Let me fix my mic. I'm probably not coming in strong enough, am I? I don't even know what the hell that was. Didn't even, so worried about everything else. Didn't even look at the mic. All right, that should be a little better with the mic. We'll put the mic over here. And that should be a little better. So I hope that everyone is coping. Well, you are. Give me a few minutes. All right, Old Bean, I'm going to send you the link. So I'm going to send the link to our pal JC Vaughn, who is the vice president of Gemstone Publishing, and these are very trying times for everyone. Everyone, very trying times. So we all must be diligent. We all must come together in this and find a way, which we will. Again, you look at it, it might be 30 days, but for 30 days for shutting down an entire economy is pretty awful. It's a scary thing. So I'm going to have a link for Jeff to come in because Jeff's got some real insight. Jeff is the one who was on the phone with Steve Jeppy last night. And we'll get Jeff on. We'll get the inside scoop on what's going on. You can hear me just fine. Thank you, John. Hopefully it's better now. Got to play with this light and my monitors here from the Blevins Media Center. Coming through the JPC. So I'm going to send that to Jeff. Working on some things right now, working on some backgrounds, which I could do while I'm talking, I guess. But when? Oh, here's Todd. I can let me text Todd. Hang on. Hang on a second. This is the part I have to figure out now. If you can. I sent it to Todd. I'm typing on the keyboard up here. I've got my laptop down here. I got my keyboard up here because once we moved from OBS, we moved to StreamYard. And it's tough with StreamYard, especially with the camera. I can open up my little camera with the art table. I had to move this camera here so you could see my drawing better. And I think it's pretty good. Working on backgrounds today, and then I've got to finish, and maybe I'll come on later on. Niall Scala and I will be on tonight on Crowdfunding Comics, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Next week, I will be on with Paul Jenkins on his little get-together, and Paul's going to be coming onto our show as well. Just have to check with Deb to see what we have for the weekend going on. Paul will be streaming Friday, But when I stream a crowdfunding comics, we do that with Niall, because Niall's the boss and the grand poobah. I'm just fixing this mic because I'm looking at my other camera with my art table on it. So I'm trying to get that. So there we go. That's better. That is better. So, but anyway, as you guys could see, good Lord, Blevins, we don't want another Heroes World fiasco. Blevins. Now let's see what Brian Blevins says. Oh, look at this. I can show this. Look at this. Oh, this is great. If this breaks Diamond's grip on the industry, it can still be saved. Yeah, anything can be saved. Brian Blevins had a good oh, thank you until I find this. Thank you, Shadowhawk. 90 She Books. Great. Thank you very much for coming on. Brian Blevins says now is the time for Diamond to lose its exclusive distribution rights. I could see the big three buying their own system, which may create new jobs and possibly regulated prices per book. Very good point, Blevins. However, what's kind of scary is that Marvel had tried to do that with Heroes World back in the 90s, if you guys remember. And that's really what kicked off all these the distribution wars. And it's a lot harder than people think to run a distribution company. You could just ask Peter Simeti, who is doing it with Alterna, with his books. I don't know how many books he has a month, a couple dozen or so, or a dozen books a month. When you get into like Marvel with hundreds of 100 books a month or so, it gets a lot more difficult. You have a far broader outreach. You're trying to reach out across the world, actually. And it's a lot of work. That's why Diamond is a great thing for comics and our retailers, because it is a system. Like every system, it may be flawed. But the people, if the publishers are delivering books that people want to read, and giving the customer books. Sorry, my hair's all sticking up. Should put a hat on, like a bum. Then those books will, then those books will get to shops. But I think this is a necessary stopgap. This is here's the invite. That's how I can do it. Copy to clipboard. Okay, good. I wanted to get Todd McDevitt on, so let me see if I can send this to Todd. Paste. There's the link. So there's the link for Todd. Let's send that. And because I want to get some retailers' point of view. And Todd was saying that this is a good thing for the industry. This is something to give everyone a pause. The NHL is on a pause. The NBA is on a pause. Major League Baseball. And, people say there's not a time for blame and stuff like that. But you know what? You have to call a spade a spade. And if there is someone, Todd is here. Good. Let me add Todd to the stream. Hang on, Todd. Good to see you, my friend. Let me see if I can double this up to Todd. If I can hit 2. Todd, brother.
Hey, how's it going, Billy?
Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on. I was really distressed this morning when I saw that. And then you came about, and you've always been a voice of reason. You're one of the first retailers I ever saw, right? I mean, you were one of the guys that called She way back in the beginning. I think even before it came out, right?
I believe so. That's the story I'm going to keep telling as long as you keep believing it. So yes.
I sent you that little preview, and you put it in your little update, your little, I don't call it fanzine, your little
newsletter.
Yeah, and you put it up, and you said, "We found somebody. This is pretty cool." So I thank you, because I owe you so much. And like I said, there's a lot of distressing things. This is this pandemic. This is our World War II. This is far bigger than 9/11. This is, far bigger than, global terrorism or whatever you have. And this is a serious form of terrorism, which is awful. But again, a lot of people were crying how horrible this is. But you have and again, I mean, to see what it's like, you have a different perspective of that. This could be a good thing. This is something that you need right now as a retailer, as a major retailer in the Northeast. And if you can give our viewers a little insight, we're on YouTube and Facebook right now. And if you don't mind, this is Todd McDevitt of New Dimension Comics, our pal.
So I'm jumping in the middle of this. So I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Diamond announcement, I assume.
Yeah, like the pause, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was talking before, and then you jumped on, and I'm all excited that this is the first time I'm learning how to do this. But
no problem.
that they've called a suspension or a pause, I guess, if you will. And again, people are freaking out. This is the end of comics, et cetera, et cetera. But not really. And this is a necessary action that I feel, and I believe you feel too. And if you
absolutely.
And if you can give a little insight, because you know, I mean, you're on the front lines. You are the front line of this. So you are the retailer. So if you can give people a little insight of what's going on, it'd be great, you know, you know, people would love to hear it.
I don't know if they'd love to hear it, but I'll blab anyway. So
right.
I don't feel like this is not the end of comic books, but like this could have been the end of comic book retailing. If they publishers continue to have output and Diamond kept shoving stuff at us and it kept getting delivered, and we'd have to, in some cases, you know, be violating state, local, municipality mandates to operate in our stores to process comics. We're doing it right now. I mean, we're not violating anything horrible right now, but that's beside the point. The thing is, like, if this goes, even if it's just 2 weeks, so many stores live diamond bill to diamond bill. You know, the expression is paycheck to paycheck, but that's kind of what a lot of stores do. I'm pretty fortunate. I run a pretty tight ship, but there are days that that's a tough bill to pay. And if it's a big diamond week, and I can't imagine how this is impacting just like a typical store, but to let that bottle up for just 2 weeks, and let's face it, it's probably going to be more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It would just be devastating. And I don't want to say this out loud, but it wouldn't surprise me if hundreds of stores are out of business at the end of this, because no matter what safeguards are put in place, it's almost a little too late. By the time Diamond puts their foot down on the brake, there's still pieces in place that, you know, there's still things on trucks that are on their way.
Yeah.
And I haven't confirmed this yet, but we expect probably another shipment next week. So that'll be 3 weeks worth of shipments that we've not been able to sell. Really. I mean, we've tried the curbside pickup thing, and that's gone decently. We've converted to all mail order now, so we don't get we don't want to be on anyone's radar. Honestly, my lawyer said, "Look, Todd, someone's going to make an example out of somebody. You don't want it to be you. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be in the news as the guy that's out on the sidewalk handing somebody a bag of comic books." I mean, we feel like drug dealers. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody made a speakeasy comment like, yeah, that's kind of what we're becoming.
Yeah.
But really everything, I mean, not just comic books, but like the world just needs to be put on hold, and the stay-at-home thing and just hunker down seems to be the way it's got to be. Then let's do what we got to do, and then rise up after this, and we'll have some pretty kick-ass parties, I hope.
Absolutely. Now, someone had a question, if I may find it. Is this it?
Is it okay if I drink beer during this?
I love it. Do you drink a beer? I should get some beer myself. So we have TJ James wants to know about Three Rivers Con.
So we have made. Yeah, I appreciate that someone out there wants to know about this specifically. Honestly, we've made no solid decision on that yet, because the real answer is I've been so busy just dealing with my 6 stores and that mess that's been a bit of a back burner. It was on the front burner for a minute because the first sort of round of things was all about mass gatherings. And there's a timetable to that. And the timetable right now, we fall outside it. So right now, it's not a problem. My personal problem is we're not going to be able to put our 100% into this just because we're distracted doing the store thing. You know, I mean, that's true every year. It's true every day of my life. Like I do too much stuff. It's hard to wear a lot of hats, but at the same time, and when we come out of the other side of this, that's going to be the focus, is the stores. You know, that's obviously 95% of my income. You know, I need to make sure that's corrected. And then I'm worried that could be 30 days away from the con. And quite honestly, a lot of the stuff's all set for the con. We have some folks that were concerned. We haven't really had any word from anybody bailing yet. So maybe they're waiting to hear from us. Yeah. But we do have some backup plans to push it later in the year. I just honestly haven't had time to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, because you're scheduled for the 30th of March, May, right?
May 30th and 31st, right? Very end of May, right?
That's my son's. That's their senior weekend. Who knows what's going on with that? But you also wonder something with a lot of shows, and I know that Shelton has full plans for Father's Day weekend for Heroes Con still. A lot of shows have been postponing it and pushing them back, because you also have to think it might be a smart thing. You're not able to throw 100% of your time into it because you're trying to keep your primary business afloat and come up with new innovations and keep that going. But it's also, that might give people a lot more time to recover. Say if you do it a little bit later, you do it in the fall, August, September, whatever. That might give people more time to recover, and everyone will recover. I mean, job wise and things like that.
Yes.
But that might give them more time to recover, have money in it again, and to
Absolutely.
And Pennsylvania is beautiful in the fall for anyone who has ever been
There you go. I am looking at the fall, but I'm looking at everything. Nothing's off the map yet.
Yeah.
The other side to that is, and the problem is no one will know when this is, there's going to be a cabin fever factor to this, where after we're all locked in our houses for weeks or whatever it becomes to be, and just there's going to be a point where people are going to be dying to go out to eat. They're going to be dying to go to a comic convention. And if it's the end of May and I'm in a good sweet spot, then fantastic. But that's a giant gamble. There seems to be no solid way to know when this is going to, and by the time we know, it's going to be too late to really schedule, an event of that size. So,
yeah, but what might be kind of cool, what I thought was interesting is, Free Comic Book Day, which is always a lot of fun, and that's canceled. I could see you're going to have the whole month of April. I hope, knock on wood, that this will be lifted, right? The whole thing, the quarantine, they will have come up with some sort of treatment, testing at least. And then maybe we could all create this grassroots Free Comic Book Day, or it's just grassroots Comic Book Day. Don't even call it Free Comic Book Day. How about Comic Book Day? And that first Saturday in every month, that first Saturday of May, we all hit, all of us pros, all of us fans, all of us retailers. You open the shops. We're open once again. Happy days are here again type of thing. And it's just called Comic Book Day. Grassroots Comic Book Day. It's not Free Comic Book Day, which they'll push back, say the summer or the fall or whenever, or next year, who knows. But why not an International Comic Book Day, where all comic shops will have hopefully reopened by then, but this is something that could bring everyone in. And I put a call out to my fellow pros, the fellow creators. Hit your local shops. Hit 4 of them. Hit 3 of them in a day. If we can do something like that May 2nd, if we can all go to the comic shops, do one for every 2 hours. Grab some pizza, something like that, and get your local news involved. Do it a superhero day type of thing.
Absolutely.
I think you got to look forward. You got to be optimistic. You got to have hope, right?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't. So I totally agree with you. I think those are all great ideas. I think they're all going to happen and more. I think when we rise out of this, there's going to be some very interesting innovation. And I think let's face it, this hobby we're in, this industry we're in, this art form is tight. Everybody supports each other. This isn't going away. Like I said, this is not the end of comics. It's going to not cripple, but it's going to hurt comic retail a little bit. But even that, there'll be some opportunities on the other side of this. We just got to get there. And what Diamond did today, I was lobbying for it. I was one of I was one of the many guys lobbying for it hard. So publishers are like, oh, we're going to do returnability. I'm like, no, you don't understand. We don't need 900 returnability forms to fill out in May. We need to not get billed for something from Diamond and then they want paid for it, which is how returnability works. Nobody understands that. I pay for it first, then I get credit for it 90 days later or whatever if I didn't sell it. And it's a great program in normal circumstances. It is not a great program in the apocalypse. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Now, there was a lot of talk. Well, we talk about it a lot. TJ James wants to know he's saying, Todd, I hope that's a barrel-aged stout, my friend.
Let me check. What did I get? Yeah, hang on. I'll get the bottle around here somewhere. I don't know who this TJ guy is, but first of all, I love him. Those are my initials as well. All right, if he's a beer guy, I'm drinking Droid Theory out of Purcellville, Virginia, and it is. I'm sorry. I'm reading it. I can't read it, and I'm sorry. I'm new at this. I can't do the camera.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good. It is a coffee Imperial Stout, 11%, with pistachio and cocoa in it. Oh. It is not barrel aged, I'm afraid, but my next beer will be barrel aged, TJ, in your honor.
Well, our friend J.C. Vaughn, a Pittsburgh guy, says, so glad Jeff was supposed to come on, but he is stuck. As anyone out there knows, Jeff Vaughn is the vice president of Gemstone Publishing. So he's in the middle of a lot of stuff, but he knows the PA comic business, well. So he's glad you have you on, as I am, because I'm going to you like, what do we do? I'm panicking. But something else that people had talked about was there was a glut of books. There's so many books being published now. And someone said here, and it's Sci-Fi says, do you think this will make Marvel drop down from like 100 comics monthly to 100 comics a month? Do you think this will help publishers? I don't know. Do you feel that there's too many comics out there? Do you think there's too many titles to choose from?
I guess there's too many. There's a lot, and it's really hard for retailers. Even me, and I'm lucky I have some sizable stores. I think one of my stores I counted has, I forget, it's like 800 or 900 new comics spaces. So I have that many new comics at any one time. And, there's always a Batman and a Spider-Man, but there's always, we have to make a decision. All right, what do we do for some of the indie stuff? And, I support it, as you've known me for decades.
Yeah.
Wow, decades.
I know.
And, but it's tough.
Yeah, today is the 26th anniversary when She the Way the Warrior first hit the stands 26 years ago. And you were one of the first retailers I met, one of the first people. And, wow. How about that, buddy?
Half my life, pal.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, mine too. Just about, yeah.
Well, cheers to that.
Yes. Well, anyway, so the thing is, and salute. Yeah, I got to get a beer. Salute. Do I have scotch here? No, I have no scotch here.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, this is something that we all should address, and we should talk about. And again, the comic fans out there, and tonight we have our crowdfunding comics show, and we'd like to reach out to you too, Todd, as this progresses and as this moves on. If you wouldn't mind coming on to us, we have 2,000 subscribers, real hardcore subscribers, very engaged audience. And we just have to, really discuss this and keep this out there because people want their comics. They are going to want their comics. They always have. It's a part of, it's American mythology. It's part of the American pop culture. It's a part of our everyday lives now. So,
absolutely.
And the thing is, everyone be safe. And let me hide that so I can move off of that. We could, just everyone be safe. Like I said, this is a scary thing. You don't want to be like Italy. You don't want to be like China. And I'm sure China had a hell of a lot more cases than they told us about. But this is a scary time. But like you said, something we'll get through. Things will change, obviously. But you can't just, I'm not going to go, do not go gently into that good night, Rage against the dying of the light, So.
I think the comic books are in our blood. Now we just got to keep coronavirus out of our blood. And, on the other side of this, the comics will still be there. So
absolutely. Well, Todd, thank you. I know you're busy. I'm sure you're doing your thing.
I'm locked in my house, dude. Here's my other background. Check this out.
Well, give us a little thing on it. Now, this is your home. This is your home office, we'll say.
Yeah.
How many comics do you have in your home office, and are they slab books? Are they?
No, I'm not a slab guy. Just got a bit of a processing job here. I'm going to pan through real quick. So, and honestly, this has nothing to do with the situation right now. I always have this kind of stuff laying around the house to work on. So
I'm trying to get you big. I'm trying to get you bigger than me.
Sorry.
Well, so you got your office. So tell us, what do you got there? Well, and if anybody's looking at comics, are you open for mail order still?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll post in a link in there on unless TJ or Blevins, if my brothers out there, if you guys could post a link to New Dimension Comics. And
more specifically, our eBay is just New Dimension Comics. That's primarily. We are doing mail order new comics as well. We're actually processing them right now, so they're in a system, so they can be shopped online. We are not good at that normally, but it's something we've kind of forced to happen for our subscribers primarily.
Yeah.
So we've got that covered. Yeah,
we got a Rene Rodonier. I don't know how to say your last name, Rene. Forgive me, but he says blah on digital because people are saying digital comics. It's you'll still get, and he said blah on digital. I like the feel of a book in my hands.
But that's been digital's been a threat forever. So like okay, could people turn to digital to maybe get the entertainment and get the story? But do they want that comic to slide in in their box and in their collection? That's the type of people we already have. Anybody who really wanted digital is already there. They're not. And digital has, to a degree, helped. I always felt digital was the new newsstand. That it's how people get exposed to comic books for the first time. And if they get excited about them, guess what? The place you go when you're most excited about comic books is a comic book shop. So it's turned people onto them in a good way. So it's been more marketing and a benefit than it has been a deterrent. I've lost some customers to digital. They just prefer it. They don't want the boxes laying around. They're a different breed. That's fine. But my business has done better and better every year. Digital hasn't done nearly the damage it thought it might do. So.
Right. Yeah. And I remember that when everyone was all freaked out over it. And, but that's the one thing about comics. And maybe comics is, even though we dominate the, entertainment, right, with the movies and all, but our industry, as you said, really is sort of like a boutique industry. I mean, like you said, everyone knows everyone. We know all the retailers. We're friends with all each other. Even the fans. Some of my best friends are people that bought my comic. And you're just hanging out with them like, hey, you want to go get some dinner? Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we all got into this because we're fans. We're not, we're not Jack Kirby sitting there like, oh, I need a job after the war. You know what I mean? These are like people like us that we love this so much. Like, I want to do this for a living. And then you learn that people are doing it for a living. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Ron Van Rutten, thank you so much for posting the New Dimension eBay store. So he posted it up. Thank you, Ron, for that.
Thank you, Ron.
So, and I'll copy it over here on YouTube as well. Let's see if I can grab that bad boy. But have you spoken to any of your your fellow retailers?
Like on the phone? Just a couple.
About what's the general sense? Like, have you had discussions? And I know you've been lobbying for this to get this to happen.
Largely it's a Comics Pro. If you're not familiar, Comics Pro organization. It's kind of an alliance of comic shop owners. She's, I don't know, maybe 10 years now. It's been a great voice to, like, we can carry things kind of in a unified way to Diamond or a publisher, or just, to sort of push things forward. Yeah. And so the board for there has been amazing. Kind of even before this really got messy, they kicked out a list of, I think it was 14 things that all comic shops could do to kind of prepare. And even me, I'm reading the list. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This stuff will never happen. It's all happened. And it was good stuff. It was just fundamentals. It was like, hey, if you're going to have some downtime, spruce up your store, make sure your orders are tight, fundamental things. Anyway, I get derailed there.
That's a way. I mean, it is a good way to restructure, but it's also maybe a way, you don't know how much you love something until it's gone. And even if it's gone for 20 days, 30 days, 14 days, maybe this will start a renaissance, say, of the art form of comics. You don't realize, oh my God, I haven't been able to get my comics in a month. I haven't been able to read any new books. And as someone else had wrote, digital, Ron Van Rutten said, digital is nice, but so are fake boobs. I have the real deal in my hands.
That's excellent. I like it.
So again, I love this idea of this comic book day, National Comic Book Day.
There's going to be a celebration, no matter. There's going to be some sort of celebration somehow, some way. I don't know if it'll be official. I don't know if it'll be store by store, but as soon as it'll be like we're all let out of our houses at the same day, it'll be amazing. So,
and that's the wonderful thing about the social media. If we could start using the internet, start using social media as a tool for good, of positivity, we can create this this grassroots event, this this major event that could spread all across the world, again, of this International Comic Book Day, or new whatever we call it. And I think that would be something that can really grow like wildfire. And like you said, what a great celebration, comic book celebration. We got another question here, Todd, about Comics Hub.
I have Comics Hub in about half of my stores right now, and love it. I say love it because honestly, I'm detached from that part of the business personally. But it has been an absolute savior so all the stuff I mentioned earlier about, we have new comics available online. So new comics we got today will be online and available, I think, tonight. So the street date thing's out the window at this point. Yeah. So we can sell them right away. I mean, at this point, they go, best case, they go in an envelope, and they don't get to somebody till after Wednesday anyway. So I think that's why they didn't care. But without Comics Hub, we could not do that. I did talk to other stores that rely on single stores that rely on it a lot, and they've been shut down, and they call it invaluable. They can just seamlessly shift over. There's a component to it where customers kind of have an account, and their payment information is all secured in there and all this stuff. And they can just go, oh, I want these 12 books, and press a button. And there's an option that's, I want them shipped. Okay. Normally it's, hey, I'll be in, on Wednesday, but if that's not in the cards, they can.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it is a good time to hit that reset button. I think it might be, it's again, this is hard, but when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And that's what people like you are doing. You've always been very proactive. You've always been, very on the forefront of innovations and try to get more people into the shops, try to make comics to expand them far more into the national psyche and into pop culture. And you've always been one of the good guys, one of the heroes, my friend.
I try. Thank you for saying so.
No, appreciate you are. You're amazing. So we see if there's anything else. Anybody asking some questions? They're saying that we're the only people talking about it right now, which is weird. That sucks.
How long are we on?
I just went out right before you. I'm like, I got to call JC Vaughn and Todd. I'm literal.
I'm in the top 2 list. Really?
Yeah. Well, because you had said this might be because I was freaking out. I got to be honest with you. I don't freak out. But I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like trying to post it. And I posted. Then you said, well, this is something that we need right now. Fortunately, comic book shops need this.
We need it, but let me ask you, dude. Like, what about the publishers? Like, I get if you can't sell your stuff, you're not exactly, that grinds your financial gears to a halt too. Tell me, how does this affect you?
Well, with me, see, because we're going, we have a meeting with Diamond in May because we're going to be launching once I get enough books, because we're doing the crowdfunding with the She Books. I have 3 more crowdfunding campaigns this year, 2 more crowdfunding campaigns this year. And the whole point of that is to do our specialty books, then meet with Diamond. Then we're going to break those books up into individual issues because they're all 48 pages. The new She's 56 pages. Our Zombie Sama book was, 100 pages. So Zombie Sama will be split into 3 or 4 issues and have them as monthly titles, but I wanted to have enough in our holster, enough books that I can go with it. And then I wanted to offer guaranteed shipping dates. And if the books don't ship on that date, they're returnable, sort of thing. But I wanted to bring back Crusade like I had it and be a bona fide boutique publisher. 1 or 2 comics a month, at least 1 comic book a month, and have that out there. But right now with me, because we're working on the She comic, the new She, the Return of the Warrior book, that starts shipping to the customers the end of this month. Next month we'll be shipping. And then we launch our next campaign in May now. We'll look at May. But so right now, nothing's impacted because I'm working on the book that people have already paid for. And I think it's a good thing that we didn't, when we had met with Diamond in San Diego in July, and talked to Steve Leaf. And Steve's like, okay, let's come down. And we're going to meet with him during Baltimore. But Baltimore was so busy, we just didn't have time to do it. Say, we'll do it in the new year. I'd rather have much more books, in my stash. Start doing reprints, 25th anniversary books of the first She, series and all that stuff. And I'm glad I kind of did hold off now.
Yeah, you timed it perfectly, whether you meant to or not.
Yeah. And the thing which cool is I want to be a new exciting publisher when all this comes back. I want to be one of them. Yes. And you're getting She Books. You can get your old She Books because as Dan DiDio had said last year, and he was lamenting over the fact, Todd, if you remember, he was upset that the DC reprinted books, I forget what they're called, were outselling their new titles.
Wow.
So he was like, what is going on? And people like, we just want good books. Just give us good books. That's all we want. Give us good books. Give us good product. Don't oversaturate the market maybe with too many titles. And my whole thing that I posted about the too many titles is because, I'm a little guy. I'm going up against, Goliath here, which is fine. It never really bothered me to begin with to do that. But, it's less titles for them, more space in the catalogs for me. And but then again, I'm a huge Silver Age fan. I love those original 12 Marvel titles. You know what I mean? I love that whole thing. And even like with DC and Marvel, what I wish they would do as a reset, and maybe this could be this reawakening. People are saying if 5K doesn't or 5G doesn't do well for DC Comics, that's the end of DC Comics, which it quite possibly could. This is kind of getting in the way of this, is kind of throwing a whole monkey wrench into all the gears, but a wrench into the gears. But what do you think of something like Marvel and DC restarting? And maybe restarting for the first year of all their titles with one and done issues, like the old days, one and done stories.
I think we live in. Maybe this might answer. You might just want to make sure you're talking about the same thing. So we live in a world of graphic novels. So I think most story arcs are geared to be, at some point in that format. So is that what you mean as well? Like.
Oh well, you can collect them. So what if you collect them?
Absolutely, yeah.
Collected into the first, say, 10 issues of new Amazing Spider-Man, but each one of those Amazing Spider-Man stories are one and done, and then you could build up to the first event. Almost like the whole Harry Osborn saga, the whole what's her name, Gwen Stacy saga. You know what I mean? You could build up to that instead of launching with here's another big 12 issue epic event. It kind of seems to peter out, or people get a little bored with them. I don't know. That's just me as an indie guy. I like that idea.
Room for both. I mean, if you're talking to Spider-Man, Marvel's going to do both. There'll always be like a stretched out soap opera thing, and there's going to be a one shot that might be a very flashy. Let's have Venom fight Deadpool, fight Spider-Man. To just sell a bunch of books that way.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. Is sometimes people just want, I don't know, shock theater. They just want the big fight scenes. I'm trying to think of a movie analogy. The big special effects, almost kind of thing.
Brian Blevins had another thing. Don't discount the fact that before this, there were a lot of comic shops that had stopped ordering new books. The lull will help the slow hemorrhage, but I am sure that in the end, only 40% of local comic shops will survive. Ooh. That's kind of a doom and gloom scenario. I mean,
there are a lot of comic shops that rely on that new Diamond product. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are some comic shops that, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Had a conversation with Chuck Rosansky from Mile High Comics. He calls a lot of shops pop culture recyclers. There's so much stuff already out there that it's. And I know even store owners that I've known for decades that they've since closed their stores, and they do conventions, they do some mail order, and they have just made a living for a decade, if not more, of just, I don't want to use the word pirating, but like they're just kind of, they're finding stuff to buy in the wild. And there's so much of it produced. Like I make a big business of buying like people's overstocks. And guess what? There's always overstock out there somewhere. By the way, when this thing started, I got offered 1,000 long boxes from somebody.
Oh my God. Oh.
I don't know if I want to be in a position to do that right now, but that's another story. So I almost don't want to say this publicly, but like I have a dream to have a new store that would not have a Diamond account, and it would be very much this pop culture recycling sort of mentality that there's so much I can't keep up with all the stuff that's coming in collections, just people selling stuff. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but at the end of this mess, there's probably gonna be a lot of people wanting to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And and I don't want to prey on that. I've never preyed on that. But if they need money and I can afford to buy it for some amount, I will do that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what happens if I buy so much stuff that the other end of the equation doesn't work out?
Yes.
I mean, quite honestly, I'm already there. I already buy way more stuff than I can sell anyway. But like, that's just different. But now it's going to be way different. It's going to be much more interesting to be like, okay, well, what stuff? The question is going to be what stuff does sell on the other end of this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's going to be an interesting. It's really going to, like you said, it's an interesting time, and again, people do love the feel of those comics. And I know that Jesse James, he stopped work, going through Diamond a year ago, I think, And I think he's doing really well with it. And again, you said there's so many vast collections, and have almost these cool nostalgia stores, because people, that's the one thing about comics that is so different.
That's a great term. I'm stealing that.
No, there you go, bro. You can have it. Is that people do love to hold a comic book. They love that. That's the whole part of, smell it. That's the whole.
It's vinyl.
That's part of the whole big, the allure of it, if you will, is that they are like anything else. They are like nothing. Like this is our own special, wonderful brand of history that we're creating daily and have created and have changed worlds and brought people together and etc. And I think a nostalgia store would be a great idea.
I love nostalgia store. I mean, that's great.
We have something. Jeff Martin here says, I would like to see both Marvel and DC get away from the cancel, relaunch, renumber scheme and get back to publishing the way it was in the 70s and 80s. How do you feel about that? Like with this whole, I remember Crisis in 1987. That was groundbreaking. That was earth shattering. But I mean, how many crises have they had since? How many of the relaunches of the entire universes has there been? And how do you feel that affects fan buying? Do you think that brings new readers in? Do you think there may be some fatigue over it? It's kind of gimmicky. What do you feel about that?
I might have an unpopular opinion. I get it. For fans, it's weird. It's a big deal. But at the end of the day, anytime they've done it, to whatever degree they've done it, my new comic sales are consistent. So people will bitch about it and they won't like it. And some people will embrace it. But at the end of the day, they're spending the same amount of dollars on new comics. It doesn't matter if it's a number 1 or a number 697. They want that fix, whatever that character is. And, and really it's about voting with your dollars. I mean, if there's a point, and, that's kind of what we started doing Diamond with this mess right now. So there's are you familiar with FOC? I'm sure you are, your listeners. Final order cutoff. It's our opportunity to change our orders last minute before.
Okay, yes. Yeah. FOC,
so that was today. So there was a big movement in the Comics Pro group, for example, an allegiance of stores to be like, look, we can make a stand here and we can be like, we're not going to order stuff. And luckily the Diamond announcement came before that really was a problem. But we were on deck to just not order shit. And we would have just, okay. And I argue two things. There's going to be a lot of extra books at the end of this, but there's going to be some really rare comics at the end of this. Like the Spider-Man that comes out in April might be the rarest Spider-Man.
That's true.
Don't quote me. Don't quote me. There'll be a mad rush on it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're talking. I mean, you're going down. Like I said, with all the cancellations that there were, that's very interesting. These books could be really rare.
It's possible.
It is possible.
I might need. I've been carrying my phone around this whole time. I might need to use 2 hands for a second. I have a problem.
It's a good problem to have, brother.
Yeah, well, I got to open this bottle, so hang on. Oh, look at that. Hey, there's
there you go. That's perfect. Now you look at. Jeez, how tall are you, Todd?
I have a feeling I'm going to have to get used to doing this while I'm in isolation.
I think so. You know what? We're bringing worlds together, though, brother. We're bringing worlds together.
I should tell you, this is my first full day of isolation.
Well, what'd you do this weekend?
I was traveling, so I just got back. So I traveled to some places and socialized with a lot of people. So I'm mostly worried that I've got a problem. So I'm trying to make sure I'm good. I was in Florida. I went to Disney World. I went to a big beer festival. I did all the things you probably shouldn't have done. I didn't go on a cruise. Somebody said, we're going to cruise. No, I didn't go on a cruise. But I'm not a fan of the winters up here, Billy. I think you understand.
Yes. Well, wait a minute. So you went to Disney World? Wasn't it closed?
Oh, no, this was, I can almost tell you the date. This would have been late February.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a few weeks ago, yeah. Yeah, it was, and even then it was weird. I think just then I want to see the news about like the Seattle cases had broken. But either way, I'm just trying to be responsible. I've joked for years, I've got so much stuff to do in my house that I just need to get locked here for a couple weeks and I'm going to get all this stuff done.
Yeah.
So now I got my wish. So
yeah. Well, and hopefully, I mean, your eBay store is still wide open. You're still shipping. The post office is running. I mean, it's an essential business, so the post office is running, as is UPS, as is FedEx. So if people want, Todd's link is in there. It's New Dimension Comics. It's their eBay store, and it's open. And he's got, man, how many comics do you have? Comic products.
There are two answers. So the eBay store has about 4,000 items. So and some of those items are like full sets of comics. So
wow.
In my empire, I have like 4 million comic books now. I know, it's ridiculous.
You got a couple of problems.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said this whole not being able to sell stuff, the other end of the equation is not new to me. So at least that part I've got figured out.
Yep. We have a question here. Whenever they do come back, I also don't think that the market will support a $3.99 cover price. So I don't know if they will have to cut quality or product quality of substance. Your thoughts?
That's a good point. I think no matter what, when we're through this, a lot of people are going to have economic hardship.
Yeah.
Now, our customers, this hobby, they're so dedicated. I'll keep saying that over and over again because it's so true. They'll find a way to afford it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I don't think price is a big discouraging factor. It's a discouraging factor for maybe like a new, like to take a chance on a new title, for example. But and unfortunately, I'll just say Marvel knows it. They know they can price Spider-Man at whatever they want, and they'll sell so many units.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, you're voting with your dollars. Until that changes, why should they change? It's not right. It's not great. It's horrible to say, but it's true. So.
Yeah. Well, and especially for indies though, like for us, price point may be a lot. We're not. I mean, I'm fortunate because I've been around here for a long time. So maybe if I launched a new She book and made it $5, $6, people would want it because there's not a lot out there. There's only 100 issues of She out there. But are you familiar with Peter Simeti and Alterna Comics and their distribution?
I'm familiar, not Peter. I don't know that name, but I'm familiar with the company. Yes.
Yeah. So, and Peter has a really cool thing where he does his titles, and I think he's maybe up to like 12 titles a month or so. He sells his book. He prints them on newsprint, like the old books. But his retail price is $1.50 per book. Hello.
It's Amanda. She's hiding. Do you want to see Amanda? Hey, Amanda. 2,000 people are seeing you.
What you eating, Amanda?
Drinking a beer.
I just gave her half my beer. We always split the beers.
It's o'clock.
Here's Amanda's nerd room.
Okay, go away.
She likes Star Wars. All right, I'm gonna get yelled at for that later.
Yeah, that's what I do to Debbie too. Hey, bro, we're live with Todd McDevitt. You know Todd from Pittsburgh. You know.
Todd.
Hello.
My son keeps raiding my bug out bag for all my stuff. Yeah, all my. What do you got there?
Sharpie.
Oh, okay, Sharpie. He's like, you got duct tape? I'm like, yeah, it's in the bug out bag. I'm not going to the garage because it's raining out. My garage is attached from the house.
What's a bug out bag?
Yeah, what's a bug out bag? You don't have a bug out bag?
I've never heard of that term. No.
You guys out there know what a bug out bag is? I have it over here because he brought it upstairs. It's in my closet. In my closet, in our walk-in closet, I have a gun safe. That's a biometric gun safe with the thumbprint. It opens up. I got all my magazines. I got ammo, things like that. Next to that, I have plugged in two Belkin walkie-talkies, charge, and then I have my bug out bag hanging up. And my bug out bag is just a bag. It's a bag, but you have all sorts of stuff. So you have in your bug out bag all the things you need if you need to bug out, Todd. So the bag is open because I can throw my magazines in and stuff like that. But little things like you got a compass. I got, like I said, he's been ready, duct tape. Look at this. My respirator if I need one. What else? Jeez.
What do you mean if you need one? When?
Right. Well, I got the regular, like knives. Here's my little knuckle duster knife. That is my, it's a shit hits a fan type of knife.
Nice.
And then you have but I have, you go in your bug out bag and let me put this here. But little things, like all sorts of little things. I've got, a heated blanket, the reflective blankets, emergency blankets. I got MREs the MREs are in the garage, so I just run to the garage and get it. I got, you look here, I got penicillin. What is this? This is like painkillers, like a little gloves.
I feel like I've entered.
First
I
aid.
feel like I've entered a different podcast.
Yeah, I know that. Well, you answered the but you have that in case you got to bug out, in case the shit really hits the fan, and all sorts of stuff in here. I got a lot of fire starters, lint, matches, whistles, extra pair of glasses, chem light for a little chem light. I need to get some batteries for that. That's an inside joke. So lots of stuff. Yeah, so you have that, and it's just, can't believe you're on Pittsburgh, so maybe you don't need it. Watch the movie Salt. Oh, is that what it was? Was it a bug out bag and salt? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Money first aid. Here's now everyone's coming with the bug out bag. Money first aid, basic tools, non-perishable foods. Yeah. So like I said, I got the MREs, the meals ready to eat in the garage. So I have my whole little routine of which way I have to go. But you have things like what else do I got in there? I got the walkie-talkies. I got multi-tools, like a Leatherman.
Sure.
Multi-tools, several knives. Like I said, flint. I got fire starters, knife sharpeners, earplugs, Q-tip, a lot of stuff. Well, a little bug out bag. So never thought I'd have to use it. Now I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's getting a little crazy.
Maybe I'll work on one. It's going to probably have some alcohol in it, but
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. I got my scotch ready to go too with that. All the stuff. Oh yeah.
I meant for cleaning wounds. What do you mean?
My wife, just call him Mr. Apocalypse. I want to get Debbie, do you want to come on live? See if I get Debbie on. Have her join us. I'll send her a link if she wants to come on live. I know she's going to want to do it. She's like Amanda. It's like now.
Yeah. They can have their own show. They can have like their own club.
I know the show about I'll ask if she wants to join us. Like, oh, these guys, your books and me. And then what's also good about the old time comics. I got my Sergeant Rocks, my war books that you can fold them up, put them in your back pocket.
I argue too. I think you can eat them. I think the pulpy paper. I'm pretty sure you can eat it. Yeah,
I guess so. Bet you could.
I don't know if it's tasty. I mean, we love that smell, right? So maybe, yeah.
It could.
Like new comics are too much laminate. There's too much plastic. It's probably not very digestible.
They cost so much. Oh my God! Now here's another thing though that people may not be aware of, is the printers. We haven't heard from. We were talking to people from China to print. We haven't even heard from them. They haven't responded to us in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But now also the prints of the North American printers, which personally I'd rather use. The North American printers, are people going to work there? Are they allowed to print? Not only that, now all the other printers are going to want to use these North American printers, and now you start queuing up.
Sure.
I mean, and that's pushing our books, and that's what I was saying. Now that I'm thinking about it more, yes, I am affected because if my campaign for She doesn't, now with all this, I can't ship those books. If I can't get those books printed till the end of April or May, then what am I going to, then I'm going to have to, that's going to push my other campaigns back. That pushes my other campaigns back, and that pushes my whole year back.
I get it. And you're right. There's going to be some sort of bottleneck for sure. So
she's cooking in the kitchen.
Was that Debbie cooking? Nice.
Deborah. Deb. There you are. Hey.
What's for dinner?
Hi. Chicken soup.
Really? Chicken soup?
Red wine and Italian bread.
Chicken, red wine, and Italian bread? Fresh Italian bread?
Soup. Chicken soup.
Chicken soup? Like cream of chicken and wild rice soup?
So regular chicken noodle soup that both of your children like.
But they love cream of chicken and wild rice soup.
Pheasant soup at the end of the week. Remember?
Okay, yeah, we did a pheasant hunt, Todd. Me and my two buddies, and oh my God, it was. And we had my buddy Tony made a Southwest pheasant stew, and that was fantastic. That we had with Spätzle, speaking very Pennsylvania Deutsch type.
Oh, I get it. I knew what you meant right away.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable! And then we had the breasts.
Spetzel.
What?
Spetzel.
Spetz, my wife, the German Polish Litvak.
We put a Pittsburgh accent on it. It sounds nothing like that.
What's it sound like? How do you say it?
Because Spetzel, which I think, I'm sorry, Debbie, what's right?
That's how it's spelled, yes.
That is it? Oh, wow. I didn't think we're never right about anything pronunciation wise. So
Yeah, Spetzel's.
Spetzel or Spatzel is how it's spelled.
How do I say it?
I don't know, but not the right way. I say it the German. That's how I was brought up.
Well, I'm not German, you know. I'm
But you live
Sicilian.
with one.
Well, you say manicotti. Try to say that.
I say Manigot.
See, she can't even say Italian words right. Manigot. She can't. She leaves out the I.
I think we're hemorrhaging viewers, Billy.
Yeah, no, it's actually growing. Anyway, so Todd, my friend, I might have a beer now too, even though Debbie says I'm allergic to beer.
Oh, that's no good. I'm
Yeah,
not sure invited.
yeah, when we do Todd's show, he's going to give us a whole bunch of cases of beer. She beer.
And then I can drink them.
Come on, man. Don't start rumors. We haven't announced that shit yet.
Oh, dang it.
We got a whole year to figure that out.
Crank caller, crank. Yeah, we got plenty of time to do that.
It might be the year after at this point. Who knows? So,
Todd, is this true? Pittsburghese is a wonderful language.
I don't know if I call it a wonderful language, but it is unforgettable and colorful. And everyone, everywhere I go, knows some piece of it, or they've had been exposed to it.
I have a question for you. What is a yins?
So yins is a conjugated way of saying you all, not you all. It's like you all in the South.
Oh, like
So
we
it's
say
like-
yous, like in New York, we say you.
Right. It's like say
Like
you
guys.
ones.
Oh, so you say yins.
Yeah. It's you ones. Only it's yuns.
Travis says that too.
What?
Travis says that too. He spells it YINZ.
That's how we spell it.
He
I
says
mean,
yins. Yeah.
I don't know how I dodged it, but I never really got the Pittsburgh accent. I grew up like 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh, like far enough away that I didn't really get into it. But man, you go into town, some people, you can just tell they live there all their lives. It is deep.
Oh,
So another one is downtown is downtown.
Downtown, like downtown Pittsburgh, downtown.
Right. I didn't know I was going to be quizzed on this, so I would have made a list.
What's a gnat? It's great gnat.
Oh, it's and that. So you end every sentence with that. So you can say like, "Hey, comic book stores are going to shit," and that. It just means there's like more of something going on.
Oh, that's great. Now, what's Tadan? Datan? Was that say?
That's downtown. That's I see it.
Downtown. Oh, that's downtown. Yeah. Okay. You and
so
Jeff
a lot of H's.
Go into town. Go into town.
Yeah, we just say downtown. It's
And
more
for
fun.
all of you that want to hear that language, you can watch Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter. And yins can watch that movie and get your little and get all the inside scoop. So, all right, my friend. Well, listen, we truly appreciate you coming on. Again, this could be a good thing. It will be thinning the herd a bit, I guess, if you will. And if you heard, Deb Diamond has suspended new comic book sales and shipping new comics. And Todd not saying it's a good thing because the retailers can't have the customers in their stores anyway. If they keep shipping the books, then they're not going to be able to afford them, and it's going to put more comic shops out of business. At least this is a pause.
We need a pause. Right. Yeah, pause. We will refer to it in history as the comic book.
They're not going to be missing anything that they have to worry about.
Right. And as Steve Howard from DC says, they're finna going to help save the industry, I think. Finna is their way of like you're gonna like finna. So finna save the industry with this.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
You're not from DC. I don't really understand it either. It's a southern thing. Finna.
Are we gonna start doing everyone's dialects?
Yeah, I guess so. Dem Stillers. Oh, Dem Stiller. You're Steelers.
I get that. That one I know.
I don't know. All right. Well, Todd, listen, you're awesome. For those of you who might have missed it earlier on, Todd gave us a real insight of the whole behind the diamond suspending new comic book shipping and sales. And one of the good things that could come out of this is that the books that do ship, because of all the cancellations, you're going to have some pretty rare Spider-Man issues and some pretty rare new comics out there.
Something.
You really are. So it could start a whole new collector boom. Oh,
why not? Hey, whatever gets people to go into stores at this point, I'll say it. So, but unfortunately not now. In a month from now, just rush in there, and whatever just came out, they should be buying it up for everyone's sake. I mean, and really, that's number one. If this wasn't obvious, anybody, just every comic book store is going to need your support. And we get, maybe you lost your job to, this all sucks for everybody. It just sucks. If there's some way you can help, maybe it's not even financial. Maybe you just go in and say, look, give me a broom, I'll sweep your sidewalk for you. The stress on everyone is going to be insane. And just stupid little things keep us human. Do it. Like, I went shopping yesterday. Every single person I saw, I thanked them. They were doing amazing work. They're cleaning shopping carts and like dumb stuff like that. And let's just stay human about this. At the end of this, sure. Could everyone use an extra $1,000? Sorry?
Can I add to that?
Please.
In addition to thanking all the people that are out there on the front lines, the nurses, the cashiers, the stock boy,
Heck yeah. The truckers.
All those people,
truckers,
just the people you run into, we're all in the same boat. We're all scared. And I think just as, like you said, as human beings, we have to try to be the light. And when you see that old woman in the aisle wearing the mask, say hi, ask her if you can help her reach something.
I'm a tall guy. I did that the other day.
For all the people that are scared and nervous out there, just try to give some people something to be happy about.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of out there.
I kept a smile on my face the entire time I was shopping. There was no reason to, but I did. Just something.
Yeah. And again, we will get through this. Americans, we are a force of nature. And again, the truckers, as Debbie, the daughter of a trucker, my father-in-law was a truck driver. That's what he did. That's what he did for a living. Teamster, the whole thing. Those trucks are rolling, man. You see them, everyone. They are rolling. They're delivering.
That's how we get toilet paper.
And getting back to toilet paper. Here's another thing out there. So, all right, honey, we'll talk to you later. Maybe you can learn this lesson too.
Bye, Debbie.
See you later, honey.
Bye.
For those of you out there with toilet paper, unless I should save the toilet paper thing, I could teach you how to take care of yourself with one piece of toilet paper.
That's a napkin.
I know, but napkins, toilet paper in the Army, the MRE toilet paper is like a square. So the infantry way. So Todd, what you do is get your toilet paper right here, okay, and you cut a little piece off. You grab the corner right here.
Got it.
Where it comes together, right? You rip that off. Okay? There you go. So you put that here. And anyone that was in the service, you'll get this, okay? And then you have that.
It's still a napkin.
Right? So then you use your folding way. You go one way, right? You go one way. You go the other way. You go this way. And then you go that way. And that should be enough to wipe your ass. And you're good to go. And then you save this piece. This one right here. That opens up nice. This is what you use to clean your fingertips.
Nice.
Problem solved. Because if you go into the shop, if you go into the thing, there's no toilet paper, there's no paper towels, but there's plenty of napkins.
I love it.
That's it. So
I've got about 4 million comic books, but I have I'd say about 500,000 comics I have no idea what to do with. If I can figure out a way to turn those into toilet paper, that's going to be what saves my stores.
Well, there's a lot of 90s comics out there, so
I have them all.
Just not mine. If you want to with mine, I don't care. There's not too many of my books out there, so anyway, all right, Todd, thank you so much. We got a great bunch of people here. We have Thomas Wade from Belgium. I hope you're doing well, Thomas. Angela, good to see you. The great Chuck Rosansky was just here. So
give him a shout out. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck. It's good seeing you in San Diego. So we all stay positive. Again, this could be a good thing. This is something that, again, let's start to talk about an idea of an international comic book day coming, maybe the first Saturday in May, if this is all lifted, God willing. And we make this grassroots thing where we all go and we visit our local comic shops. We all make a big celebration out of it. We celebrate the art form. We celebrate the fans. We celebrate the publishers. We celebrate the people that bring you the books. And this could be pretty great. So
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Todd. Thank you so much. I hope you don't mind if you'd come on again with me when we have our crowdfunding comic show, maybe next week. That's our main show that we have at night, and having you just jump on like this, because I know there's going to be a lot of people with a lot more questions coming through, and you just truly are a real voice of reason, of stabilization, and inspiration. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Maybe I'll set up a camera or something, because I've been holding this phone up the entire time. I'm going to try to work on this for real.
You can lean it up against a long box.
Oh, I have those. I can do that. That's the real lesson learned here, is how I now know how to wipe my ass, but also I'm going to figure out how to use this internet contraption thingy. So
there you go. And as Steve Howard had said, Finna in DC is fixing to.
No, sir.
Yes, it is, Steve.
I'm going to.
Fixing to. Like, I'm finna go to the store.
Stop. You can stop now.
No, I'm not stopping.
You better.
Dude, I'm not a boomer.
Yes, you are.
All right, Todd, good to see you, my friend. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, remember out there, keep your local comic shops, your comic dealers, your pros. Everyone, we're all in this together. This is a wonderful boutique industry, and positive energy and light, man. That's it. So thank you, Todd. You have a great day, guys. Todd has 4,000 products right now on his eBay store. If there's anything you want, he's got 4 million comics. So if there's a comic you might want, that old comic, that one comic that'll finish your collected run of Captain America, I'm sure he has it. But you can go to eBay, and it's New Dimension Comics at ebay.com. So
sure. I don't know what. I think it's just New Dimension Comics. That's all right.
All right, New Dimension Comics on eBay, or if you go to New Dimension Comics and send a message, he'll get back to you. So thank you, Todd.
Sounds awesome, man. Happy anytime. Cheers.
Everyone
Fun time.
stay safe. Talk to you guys later. We'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. Bye. Thanks, Todd.
You bet. Bye.